Assalamu alaikum. What's up? What's up, welcome everybody. It is AJ back. Noon or 1 the Friday, the 28th day, September 2025. Hallelujah. اليوم الوهم alhamdulillah, right? So it turned out, you have to just to always reflect on what happens with you, and your next step is always, for each action there's an opposite and equal reaction. When the constitutional rights of a Canadian citizen, AJ, aka Ahmed Jr., is violated, not one, are violated, many. Understand, we live in a land called Canada. If you live on this land, welcome to Canada. Oh, Canada, right? So either be Canada, the new term, or condom. So, meaning, if you're a true Canadian, we should be speaking against the injustice, the tyranny, and the lawlessness that has been happening, and the corruption, and no other than the federal government of your own corporate badge, Canada. That's the maple syrup, right? That's why you get syrup, right? So the maple leaf, so to speak, right? I mean, if you're a Canadian, you understand. Maple syrup. You don't get the shitty plastic bottle, diluted version of the true maple syrup. But only if you live on the countryside and you have the knowledge to actually harvest this naturally occurring nature, Mother Nature. So natural laws applies first. And this is the premise of my court case, allegation before the court case. Yesterday, remember, I had gone just to follow through my court motion. In person, they did the exact same thing to me. The very last time I did it on the 17th of September 2024 regarding the same allegation. I appeared before justice because I had revoked my mother's surety. I told her to go revoke her surety. I had already applied for a bail release variation form. Right? You just gotta apply every day almost. You have to, just so you can make sure that that one day that perhaps somebody will actually look at your application is actually a human being versus some robot, matrix, or paid for by some corrupt politician, blackmail stooges, what have you, because the system is rigged, and there has to be a way to rig the system. If not for the fact that you have basically people breaking the rule of the law. Which law? Well, you're in violation of my constitutional right. So yesterday I was at the courthouse just before my court proceeding, as they figured out where they lost my file case, they lost my file number, what have you, or they don't have nothing on me. Okay, no problem. Then they figured out this falsify more evidence and fabricate the manufacturer nonsense. Now suddenly I have to go appear, before the judge in court 7. So from court 1 to court 7, and then I hear this case. It's public, so we can order the transcript. So I, AJ, right, the sole and chief executive of my own legal estate, registered in the accused name below, I, AJ, aka Ahmed Jr., I'm claiming the name. I'm the accused, right? So I'm being the accused. I'm claiming the name below. So, unfortunately, when you are subject of their complicit cooperation between the Ontario Provincial Police and the Quebec Provincial Police, which basically this is a provincial level. We're talking Quebec and Ontario, complicit, hands in hand, basically. Like the point is this: the treatment, even though they are complicit, there's always a treatment, right? There's different treatment between the treatment you receive while you are being incarcerated without a just cause in detainment centers, only to be, supposed to be protective custody in Hull Center. So, but this what happens in protective custody. I did not lose this because of the the weak punch, so to speak. Right? It's okay. I got blacked up, no problem. That's makeup, we call it. I'm sure you, as a child, you've had been bullied to the point where it was fist fight between you and your little friend at school. It's just the way of life. You earn your respect. Life teaches you. When you have your trusted guardians, your naturally father, biological father, your mother, and your siblings. So that's life. So I, claiming the legal estate registered in my name below, and resend my social insurance number, which basically is a trust account, right? Because it is demanded now, it's a public record. The social insurance number. So I am the sole trustee. I, AJ, as the sole trustee of that trust account, I revoke my trust with the federal government of Canada. Now they have made me stateless because guess what? They're after my house and they have taken my passport for identification purpose, but they have not returned it to me without my consent. They seized it. I'm missing other paper perhaps, but they have the record, because if they can lose the record on a computer system that they suddenly fabricated some odd 30 odd pages of what occurred and what happened and what transpired, right, as I go through the motion. So they don't want me to post on social media, where that is in the province of Quebec. I don't know what province of this is. Last I checked is Canada, under a tree, right? So I don't consent, and therefore, as you have broken every single civil code, constitutional, right, before the county, like provincial, so from all the way from the civil code, which is nothing but rules and regulation of the municipalities that you are supposed to administer and make sure laws and order, peaceful. Not that you start chasing the locals, right, native to the land. I've earned my degree in the field of aerospace, electronic and system design engineering. You have yet to graduate, let alone go to a prestigious engineering program right here at the heart of the nation's capital, Carleton. Ottawa doesn't even have that. Good luck, because they're the lawyers and the fuckery, entrepreneurs. Whereas, they need the engineers and they need the intelligent, the intellect. And there's a reason why there's a one tunnel in Carleton University. That was the mini NRC, so to speak, right? I live in the city. Like, I'm Canadian. You took my passport. Now you basically violate every single civil, which is basically municipal, which follows the provincial, which are acts of parliaments, right, or legislative assembly, if you're in Alberta. Then that falls Supreme Court. Supreme Court does what? Supreme law of the land. Now under federal trust law, right, the triangle. I keep talking about trust law, right? That's the trustee, the government, trustee, and they are basically the dictators of the law, because they have to go through parliament. There has to be law and order, which has to transcend and has to what? Reflect the rule of the law. It's something called the Gazette. So in any case, these are things perhaps for the average Joe are not very well familiar with lingos and what have you. All it is basically basic things, right? Basic things in life. Trust and law. That's what we operate. It's a judiciary system based on trust. Then comes the contract, social contract. Now there's a breach of trust, therefore there's contract void. Therefore, now as a stateless, I came stateless, I'm an indigenous, alhamdulillah, indigenous Palestinian, right? Born refugee, second generation. Dimashq, Syria, Mukhayba Yarmouk. You can't even say it. You can't even say it, most of you, because you can't speak Al-Arabiya. Indigenous rights, right? So now you're breaking every single civil code, municipal, provincial acts, right? Federal laws, now international laws, right? Because all these things are nothing but man-made. You still have common laws. You have International Court of Justice for a reason, because you have also common law that International Court of Justice has to basically abide by. So you cannot rewrite the laws of the land just because at will for no reason. It is universally accepted, universally. There's jurisdictions for a reason. Even salt water in the sea does not mix with the river, fresh water. And the river always goes downstream, as nature always goes downstream, right? Originate from high mountain, perhaps, flows, right? And you get life, and that's life. So this is my application, because unfortunately with the judiciary system now, we have to follow a specific format. So your application is accepted before the Supreme Court to be heard. Well, this is public trial with the jury. I'm asking for Supreme Court of Canada, and at the end of the day, this is the record that I'm also advancing my application before the International Court of Justice. It's not rocketry. I demand full immunity. I did nothing wrong. I'm speaking against the corruption. This is why I believe I am being the subject of being a target individual. A target individual in the sense where, look, I'm the body. I survived. I survived the taser attack before. That's fine. Attempted murder. Oh, now they have to give me the disclosure. No, good. Fabricate more shit. That's fine. Bring your witnesses. I have my witnesses. I'll bring all the witnesses. It's public trial with the jury. Supreme Court of Canada. Right? And then you follow. Because Canada is just a corporate bylaw, so we have to raise it. The King's bench, right? Because again, they had to operate. The eastern provinces had been historically more French, because that's how Canada came to exist, right? 1867, British North American Act. So Section 92. I assert my own sovereign clan jurisdiction. So I demand as the sole chief executive of the accused name below, Inc. Now we have to add Inc. because now I have to transfer all things in my trust account that is associated or linked with my SIM card, social insurance number, right? 527514186. That's right. You can't fabricate records if you remember the record. And you have the record to verify. And I've posted my identification, my journey so far till this moment, as I will upload this. So yeah, this will be the application. Merit, natural law. You're also breaking common laws. You're breaking it's look, it's not rocketry here. It's not rocketry. This is why it's not a 2 days trial where you can just look at the facts and turn a blind eye because you got punched in the eye, perhaps, right? You can't see no more. Why? You can see clearly. Left eye, right eye, right? So all to say, you have to always have a conviction if you are speaking the truth, because when you go under oath, you are speaking your truth to something you subscribe to. So you take an oath. You take an oath as a law enforcement to what? Not break the rules of the law. Which law? Laws and order, right? Any child law cannot break parent law. So you have to just know one thing in the Constitution. You cannot just willy-nilly throw people, detainment, and unlawful seizure, unlawful arrest, right? Before you even identify the person. On what? Allegation of what? Suspended driver license. Okay, great. I've been in camp for 25 years. Not a day. In fact, the RCMP, gladly, because I took an incident, there's the record of it, when an RCMP officer, perhaps, I was followed, and just off Kirkwood, I believe, and turning on Kirkwood from coming off Island Park. So anyways, in the area there, trying to visualize the map now, because I used to drive no more. They have seized my vehicle. Theft. That's what happens when you come back to the scene within the hour after you have been told, instructed by the law enforcement that you have been cooperative with. Very cooperative. And they handed me, they tried to send me 2 summons, two commission offense under the Highway Traffic Act, one of them. And the other one was for the possession of cannabis. So I had less than 4 grams. They took it, no problem, take it. But again, what I do in my private life, my business is my private life, is my business. It's none of your business. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not smoking. You clearly did not smell anything. So again, show up to the courthouse. I want to see exactly what was your primary ground to do what you did. After I have proceeded to identifying myself and giving my passport at the time, because I was reaching to the bag, God forbid, I'm reaching for some weapon. No problem, that's fair enough. But now, I'm telling you, I'm reaching from my guitar bag, clearly. Right? I play the guitar, flamenco. But now, this is what happens, So, I can't play the guitar until my finger heals. So, I charge for every millisecond. When I show the video that I told the OPP that it is going to be $1 million a minute, that was then. Now the number is $100 million a millisecond. Now, the epoch goes back to November 17th day of 2023 till present moment, and continue until until natural cause until perhaps my time, right? My natural cause, right? My time comes. So, and that is basically when you go, and that's your destiny, because we all die at the end of the day. We all die. Destiny, we all die. I mean, it's not rocketry. You're not immortal. Everybody is a mortal being here. Animals alike. Being, that's it. Because we are beings. We happen to be human beings first, right? Hopefully. So, and that's basically where my faith remains. That I believe, following the process, the due process of the law. Because we have the tools available. This is why I'm advancing my matter before the Superior Court in Quebec. They got denied. Ontario, same thing. Now I'm before Supreme Court of Canada. But then you have to go through all this, nonsense, because if you're not computer literate, I am very computer literate. I'm, like I said, aerospace engineer. I have my track record. I can build website, no problem. But now, what happens? You get your laptop, personal laptop, since 2013, stolen. And under broad daylight like this, which is a bit, before iftar time. This is the time when I was in Alberta to do business. But I had just been robbed away my life to go, my right basically, unalienable natural rights to just go about and doing business, because here I cannot receive justice. I cannot get my court case, advanced in the appropriate time frame that I believe. There's a limit as to how much you can push and continue to push me and act in bad faith. And now, I had to get a cracked tooth, right? Which resulted in basically, as I was in detainment and poor, shitty quality of life conditions. You walk in like good thing they just let you in with your clothes, right? And Ontario, they strip you away and you're in jumper suits, and you're in jumper suits for the life of yours until you shower and you can do your own laundry, so to speak. So they'll do the laundry service really bad. In Quebec, no, detention center, you have access to, you continue to carry your stuff on and what have you, and the rule just bend over. Like one rule here, the other rule, it's like bend over style. So so I don't consent. So again, there's a lot to talk, and in the interest of time, right now this is a good starter video, right? So that's part 1 application. There's going to be a few more parts, but essentially This is the means of communication available to me, and I, under exercising my natural right, this is the most convenient way for me to communicate. Since we are now all digitizing the court system, and I have to wait and to appear before Viseo, as you call it, right? As visual, right? Okay, well, we can have a live visual. I don't need your permission to set up a Zoom link. Basically, I'll provide the link below. Again, we can do this. Simple. It's not rocketry. Again, within the rule of the law, I am saying, okay, well, we can do it remotely. So now what I'm going to do, actually, since I'm going for business, it's going to be a proposal. The proposal is very simple. That's part 2. So stay tuned.